You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
We're living in a very dangerous time right now, and liberalism has lost their cotton-picking mind.
The Trump folks, if they found out how we knew what we knew about the Trump staff's dealing with Russians, that they would try to compromise those sources and methods.
Nobody ever said anything about resisting Obama. They went at him on legitimate arguments.
I really do believe that much of what you saw coming out of Trump's mouth was a play from Putin's playbook.
Welcome to the Abolitionists Round Table, your all-access pass to exposing fake news, the resistance, and the global elite's shadow government undermining American progress. Be a part of the conversation at 734-822-1600. And now, your all-American hosts, Del Marsh and Phil Stargell.
And good morning. The Abolitionist Round Table is on the air. And today, Del Marsh is still on another assignment. He's trying to recover from some treatment and other things. So I'm not riding single-handed today. I got to my left and to my right. We have a studio audience in the studio. A good friend of the Abolitionist Round Table of Michigan and a great patriot. We have Bruce Fleury. And Bruce, it is a great honor to welcome you to the show.
Well, Phil, it's a great honor to be back, and I'm just always thrilled to have the opportunity to come in and spend some time with you. We don't see each other nearly enough.
Right.
You being a West Sider, me being a dazzling urbanite from the East Side. So it's always great to be here.
Yeah. Well, the East Side and the West Side, we
never the twain shall meet.
Yeah. Man, I tell you, all the time I've lived in Detroit, it's always been. I always got lost on the East Side.
Yeah.
I never could go over on that side of town without getting turned around.
I know. I feel the same way. I get past Woodward, I'm lost. Yeah. I've been, grew up, 2 or 3 neighborhoods over the years on, the East Side of Detroit, and it's, a lot of memories. I'm
gonna lead off this show here. I'm gonna say something that I don't normally say, but I'm gonna make a recommendation. That I just had a notice that I was my year membership in the NRA was expiring. So I'm going to tell everybody right now that I will be in the next day or so renewing my membership with the NRA. And I would suggest all of the people listening out there,
please do. Please
and
renew
your families
yours.
And everything.
Yeah.
Please renew your
your
NRA membership.
Yeah, we had renewed our CPLs on Friday.
Yeah.
Or Thursday rather.
Yeah.
And we need it now more than ever because all the lies and misconceptions and just the all this stuff that's cascading now down from the left, dovetailing onto that horrible mass shooting down there in Parkland. And the stuff you're hearing more and more coming out about how many systemic failures took place from the local level all the way up to the federal government. And the thing is, if you cannot rely on the government to protect you, then you need to have some means of self-defense, which is your God-given right under the Constitution of the United States. Yeah,
and for all of the talk about taking away, they talk about taking away or banning assault weapons, so-called assault weapons.
Right.
You and I both know that there's what you made the point that the AR and the AR-15 What's the
okay? The AR.
designation
Okay,
for?
the letters AR and the AR-15, and this is very important. This is being brought out by the left as to stand for assault rifle or automatic rifle.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, automatic weapons have been severely restricted in this country since 1934. When people think about the Thompson submachine gun and that type of thing, you can obtain an automatic weapon, but it's going to cost you anywhere from $16,000 to $20,000. You're going to have the federal government looking up your wazoo with a fiber optic lens.
Is that for the permit?
That's
I heard that it
very difficult.
Automatic, real automatic.
Very difficult.
It's about 50,000.
Well, it can be. I guess depending upon the model you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know. Let's see. John Lott was on with Mark Levin's program the other night. Pointed out a lot of misconceptions about the AR-15. So AR-15, number one, the AR does not stand for automatic rifle. And secondly, AR does not stand for assault rifle. Okay. Again, automatic firearms have been severely restricted from civilian ownership since 1934. This is from the National Shooting Sports Federation, or Foundation, as they call it.
Now, what does that AR?
Okay, AR stands for the company Armalite. Armalite, which developed the platform in the 1950s. Now, the AR-15 looks like a military assault weapon. If you look at some of the photographs of the rough assault rifles by going to the website over the years, the NSSF website over the years, and it shows you from World War I era all the way down to today and how much they've changed in their appearance. And the appearance is very, very important because they want to ban these things on the way they look.
Yeah.
These are not military hardware. If you took one of these things into combat, it wouldn't, You just, we'll put it this way, you probably would not have a fair chance against an enemy with a full military weapon. But they look like military rifles, such as the M16, on which it's based. Okay, but they function like other semi-automatic civilian sporting firearms, and they fire only one round at a time. Okay, and that's another thing where where things kind of get clouded or distorted.
People say things like,
you have to squeeze.
These weapons that are capable of spraying vast amounts of rounds of ammunition at, in any given time.
Yeah.
And actually, again, it's only being shot as fast as you can pull the trigger. So
and if you think,
and one other thing,
sure,
they are often on the left. They are often talking about the fact that the founding fathers, when they gave us the right to bear arms, that they were talking about a musket.
Right.
But they continually forget that the musket was the state-of-the-art gun back at that time.
Yeah.
And it was better than anything else,
right?
And especially the hunting rifle that we had here in this country, the frontiersmen and the people that defeated the Hessians and the British and the Redcoats. The weapon that the frontiersmen used. I mean, it was just it was the same type of gun.
Right.
But it was much more accurate because of the rifling and things like that. So but these weapons were the state of the art, just like what is it, the M4?
The M4. The M4 is you see that, and that's one badass looking piece of hardware. I tell you that, and just try to buy one of those. As a regular civilian, you won't be able to do it. These guns are obtained, in all kinds of ways. And you hear a whole laundry list of what can we do here, what can we do about this to keep guns out of the hands of people that don't belong. Well, first of all, I'm not an expert. Okay, I'm not an expert in psychology or anything like that. You don't know who belongs. And David Webb this morning was making a very good point as I was listening to his program on Sirius driving in. He says, unless you change the person, and change what's going on in their in their heart and in their mind, these things are going to continue to happen no matter how many security measures you do take. But that doesn't mean that you can't take any security measures. Okay. Mark Levin says we got to secure our classrooms.
Yeah.
Congress, the Senate, the president, cabinet officers, all these people in government decision-making positions, they have armed security.
Right. Exactly right. And if
so why can't our
Congressman
kids?
Scalise didn't have security, I feel sorry for all of those people because they could have all been killed. All of those congressmen that were on, in that park that day. And the thing about it was he only had security because he was in leadership of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Other than that, the regular congressmen are not allowed to carry weapons, concealed weapons, and defend themselves.
Right.
It shows you the lunacy of the Democrats. Because
and some Republicans too. Some people that call themselves conservatives. No, not everybody should have a gun. Not every teacher should be armed.
No.
And Trump is right when he talks about this.
And that's why the founding fathers made it a blanket statement that you have the right to keep and bear arms.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because they know some people will choose not to carry. Some people will, but nobody should be forced either way.
Right. Now you look at these, and you brought up the founders of the Second Amendment. Okay, the wording is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And so the left likes to talk about and equate the militia with the National Guard.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I believe it was James Madison when they were in the Federalists. I forget which Federalist it was. I think Madison wrote it, or Monroe, one of those guys. And he said the militia is the entire people, and to disarm the people is to enslave them. Now, a definition of a militia, I believe, is able-bodied people, males,
between
primarily
a certain age,
between
18 and 50 or 15
something like
50.
that. Well, that lets us off at our advanced age, but still, we need to have a way to protect ourselves. I cannot. I always go back to the night that my wife was carjacked out of our driveway.
Yes.
I happened to be at work, working afternoons when this happened. She had come home from work. She had parked her car, her SUV in our backyard. Some kid turned out to be a nephew's neighbor who had been turned down for demanding drug money. Just happened to pass by with his girlfriend, saw that my wife had just gotten home, gotten out of her SUV. He came up, wound up getting her keys away from her, getting into a scuffle and that type of thing. And thank God he wasn't armed. But my wife, I mean, she and I both said, we have got to do something about this. We have got to protect ourselves. We have the right under Michigan law to keep and bear arms for the protection of our state and our individual persons and property. And the Constitution does not grant rights. It guarantees rights which are already bestowed upon us by our Creator as set out in the Declaration of Independence.
And they have it set where it has to be with a whole lot of determination and a whole lot of thinking and a whole lot of debate,
right? That
you take away these rights. And what you see is a kangaroo court established with a bunch of victims. Yeah. And they are saying anything and calling people names.
I'm seeing 3 letters in the alphabet. C N.
Yeah. Hey, well, listen, let's go to the lines, because we got a very good friend of the Abolitionist Round Table on the line, and that's Joe from Wyandotte. Good morning, Joe. How you doing this morning? It's good to see you up and around and ready to go this morning.
Yeah, I am up today, which, like everybody pretty much knows, I normally am not at this time on a Saturday.
Exactly. Right.
I'm normally up at this time any day, actually, because of my health.
I hear you.
I just so happen to be. Yeah, I wanted to call about Trump's position, but I wanted to reiterate was it Bruce? It's
Yeah.
Bruce, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Bruce was saying Article 1, Section 6 of the Michigan Constitution is all the more clear than even the federal Constitution. The defense of state and self. You can't get any more clear than that. And we haven't seen you around our district in a while, Phil, so we've got a Constitution dinner coming up on March 5th. It's on the Wham Radio Community Bulletin Board. Hopefully you'll look that up and come visit us again and come out for that. Second Amendment will be one of the hot topics, of course.
Yeah, and I will.
Constitution dinner, so
I think I heard something about it, and I'll put it on my schedule, and I'll be there, and
it would certainly be great to see you again. It's been a long time since I've seen you. It was great having you at our inauguration celebration. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was, and that's why I'm on my way to, because you guys know how to do it. So I'm gonna be there.
You have all these great events out here. I'm telling you. I gotta get Phil and Dell to come out to the old stomping grounds out of the east side. For DEFCO and that type of thing.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I was calling about Trump's position and raising the age to 21. Nope, sorry. Unless if we're going to make the age that you can drive start at 21, because that'll cut down on a lot of text driving deaths too.
Yes, it will.
If we, if like the law says, if you can only save just one life, you gotta do it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I see a lot of people my age that are banging away on their cell phones, not looking to pay attention to what they're doing. And I'll tell you what, Joe, the next if I ever get behind or alongside of one of these people, I just ease on back and just let them go, because they're going to wind up crashing sooner or later if they don't pay attention to what they're doing.
And also, we need to raise the voting age to 21.
Yeah.
If we're going to open it up to what you can and can't do by age 21, better be voting, because these ignorant, and we don't call them snowflakes anymore, they're mushrooms, because they tend to grow in the dark of ignorance.
Yes.
Either that or they're on some kind of mushroom.
Well, that makes them even more ignorant.
Have you seen Phantom Thread yet?
No.
Mushrooms play a pretty good part in that movie. It's a very good film. Daniel Day-Lewis's last film as an actor. So I'm just kind of threw that out there since you mentioned mushrooms.
And the thing that what you're saying about these kids that are have become so vocal, it's just a play on the women, and see, all of this is directed directly at President Trump. This is all directed right at him, and what they want to do is they want to capture the woman's vote on the fact that Trump hates women. Right,
yeah.
And of course,
and you got these kids
that
are too confused to know whether they're male or female. Just look down your pants; it's basic biology and science. They're too confused to know what bathroom to use, and they don't know not to eat Tide Pods. But we're supposed to expect that they're gun control experts, and we should listen to them now.
Yeah. Right. Well, and that's a terrible thing, because you've got to. When you approach a situation like this, you got to realize, these kids have gone through, something that they could only have read about in the papers, and then had that happen to them. And they're going through a lot of trauma in their life, a lot of grief. They've lost loved ones, they've lost friends, they've lost people they trust in their lives, and this type of thing. And this is what makes it so odious, Joe. So just despicable to me that when we should be talking about this type of issue without a lot of emotion, without a lot of drama and passion, that type of thing, sticking to the facts, like we have talking about the AR-15, the fact that guns are used a million and a half times a year to prevent crimes.
Yeah.
Joe, that gets lost in the shuffle among all the noise and all the show trials like CNN had the other night. Now, I didn't watch it, but I heard some of this stuff. I heard Dana Lash said that she was in fear for her life. Nobody should be in fear for their life, no matter what the subject you're discussing. We need, Joe, Phil, we need to get to the point where we can discuss things factually without a lot of hoo-ha and falderall and all this type of extraneous nonsense. Let's get right to the point and let's do something about this. No, not everybody should have a gun. I'm against a lot of different types of people having guns.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
They say act, do something.
Yeah,
right?
do something. What? That's the thing.
What I say is
Right.
harden the schools.
Harden the schools.
Okay, now
That would
can be
actually
done.
solve the problem.
That would go a long way to solving the problem,
Yeah.
Joe. A long
And
way.
see, the thing is that one thing that nobody is saying is that 99.9% of all of these school shootings are done by the kids in the school.
In a gun-free zone.
Yeah, in a
gun-free zone.
And guess what? 9 out of 10 times the kids knew that these guys were troublemakers and ready to do something
exactly.
like this. We've had reports of 3 different people calling the FBI, and what's the FBI doing? They're snooping around in Donald Trump's finances.
39 times in 7 years. Phil, 39 times in 7 years, this kid was visited. He was 12 years old the first time.
Oh, man.
He was Joe, he was 12 years old the first time this happened. And
So, Joe,
over
what
and
do you
over and over
think-
again.
what do you-
39 times in 7 years, you do the math, that comes out to once every 6 months.
Yeah.
Or less than 6 months.
So,
Yeah,
Joe,
and it's like you said about logic rather than emotion, too. We don't strip cars away from we don't even strip cars and their licenses and everything away from the drunk drivers.
No,
let alone
right.
No,
sober
they have their
drivers to
lawyers
prevent
fighting for them in court.
driving deaths.
and
what about knives, serrated knives?
That's another
Those
point.
are scary looking. We should ban those. They can be an assault weapon, too.
what about the Louisville Slugger?
A Louisville Slugger. I mean, look at we've had incidences of these kids. Nothing better to do than go over to a freeway overpass, pick up a piece of concrete, and drop it down onto a car.
Yeah.
Now that's an assault weapon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
your
that's
fist can be an assault
rock at
weapon,
that
Joe.
point.
But what it is the reason why I brought up the fact that this threat comes from within the school.
It does.
And so that's what we should be concentrating on, not concentrating on the law-abiding citizen
No.
out here and talk about taking away his rights because you can't control what's going on within the walls of that public school.
Right.
And that is on, in my estimation, since the federal government has taken over the public schools with the Department of Education, I say that it should, I think Donald Trump should exert his power over that and say from today on, we're going to have an assessment done at every school in this country.
Right.
And we're going to federalize these schools, and we're going to put active duty military people into that school.
Yeah.
And control, not necessarily in it, but control the perimeter. What goes on, nobody goes in, nobody comes out unless they're searched and everything else.
And then how in the world, guys, did this guy actually get inside the school with his backpack and his rifle?
Yeah, and
I want to know that.
And what was the ruling when they threw him out of school that he could not come back in there with a backpack? I mean, all of this, and he comes in with not a backpack but a duffel bag full of guns and ammunition.
Everybody where I work at Ford has issued a badge with a barcode on it.
Yeah.
You have got to go through its turnstile. You've got to scan that barcode to get through the turnstile. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But if I have to have that at my workplace, why can't we have that set up at one spot, not 3 or 4 locations?
And Joe, what do you think? Don't you think that was some mischief on the part of the Democrats?
Oh,
That the fact that they won't harden the schools because when the last when they banned the assault rifle, when they came back in, they took away our gun, our right to defend ourselves. The innocent people had nothing to do with that shooting that precipitated that order to ban assault rifles.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
and
George.
I have no problem with fixing the NICS system, but the last thing, too, is the bump stock.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ambivalent about that. Most people say those are garbage and not effective anyway, but
Yeah.
it's a principle. You cannot give them the inch, and we look forward to seeing you at the Constitution dinner on March 5th.
All
It's
right.
on the community bulletin board for anybody else who wants to see it.
We'll
Take
do
care, guys. Love
hard
ya.
break time.
Thank you, Joe. God bless.
You're listening to the Abolitionists Round Table with your hosts, Del and Phil. They're exposing the left's underground resistance while leading the charge in the fight for liberty. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600.
Hello, I'm Milt, and this is Logically Speaking Uncensored. Zero tolerance. In the lexicon of political correctness, zero tolerance means rejection of anything liberal, left-wing collectivists deem unacceptable. Liberal left-wing collectivist agendas have empowered and instituted zero tolerance throughout the United States and the world as a dogma of domination. The effectiveness of zero tolerance as a stratagem cannot be denied, as witnessed by the fact that principled people are bullied into silence, afraid to speak up, speak out, and say, do, or criticize aberrant behaviors, perversions, immoralities, or evil indoctrinations. And despite its totalitarian, oppressive disregard of civil entitlements, zero tolerance has been endorsed and received by a large segment of society, particularly in the citadels of academia and politics. I contend and stress that if zero tolerance is good enough for those who hate the United States, then it should be good enough to be used as a deterrent weapon against our enemies, both domestic and foreign, by patriots who cherish the United States. As the United States confront multiple internal cultural wars of incivilities and inhumanities such as murders by abortion and radical moral decay, the nation can ill afford the luxury of tolerance towards entities fighting to achieve our demise. Therefore, zero tolerance is an essential necessity. So, as a proud American who is not ashamed to proclaim allegiance and loyalty to the United States, I propose that the nation embrace the format of zero tolerance and apply it to all instigators and insurrectionists whose actions or deeds are detrimental to the United States, and especially to traitors and perpetrators of treason, both home and abroad. Under the jurisdiction of zero tolerance, trespassers who violate our borders should be classified as criminals and harshly penalized. And this should include green card and visa violators. Zero tolerance should also be applied to include anarchists and seditionists with provisos of incarceration and or deportation. So I implore all who love America to fight for that which is right and petition those in power to endorse and impose zero tolerance upon terrorists, environmental fascists, and climate change hoaxers, socialistic communism, hate America factions, children abusers and female genital mutilators, fake gender promoters, Democrat Party revisionist history, and all ideologies that advocate destruction, death, and violence upon Christians and Jews. If zero tolerance is implemented by the right people for the right causes and right reasoning, like the curtailment of our enemies, then it is a good thing, because zero tolerance against enemies of the United States is not a vice. I am Milt, logically speaking uncensored, saying, think of it.
And And that was another sterling commentary by Milt Harris. And today, folks, is the last day that we will be able to do some of the things about Black History Week month. And so I just want to, I'm going to deviate from it a little bit. I'm going to give you a little bit of Black history. But I'm going to just, because this ties in with the massacre down in Florida. Mm-hmm. And the reason why. I mean, like I think I said that that the threat in our public schools is not coming from the outside; it's coming from the inside. And that threat is twofold. There's a physical threat with the shootings, and there is a rhetorical threat with the name calling, the blaming people. Is coming from these victims of the shooting, and what the Democrats have pioneered is taking advantage of victims and allowing them to carry the torch for their agenda. And this is what's happening here. These kids are saying some pretty rough things to people that are trying to tell him that these rights that you're willing to remove from somebody else, you know, they can be removed from you.
Yep.
And Joe was pointing that out. Mm-hmm. Joe he's got his finger on it.
He sure does.
He understands that if the kids could understand that this is a thing that is not as simple as a victim wanting basic revenge, but it is trying to solve the problem and protect our rights, because I don't care what the problem is in this country, we can solve it, but we can't forget the fact that you're going to step on somebody and their rights if you go about it in the wrong way, if you go about it in a knee-jerk fashion with a reaction instead of action, and that's what's going down. Yeah. These kids want immediate action. Well, let's take away your gun, Bruce. We're going to start with, the assault rifles. Let's take them and ban them. But next time, when the real threat to liberty, and that is when somebody takes a concealed handgun in there because he can't find the AR-15 because they haven't made it convenient for him to just ride up in an Uber car. They took that away from him. So he goes in with a gun in his pocket and walks in and starts shooting people. So now we've got the same problem because we have succumbed to rhetoric. And based on somebody putting people up to it. And I say that because these kids, who got the buses to take these kids to the state capitol? Who assigned the money? Where did the money come from? And I tell you right now, it's the Democrat Party.
Yeah, it's usually they have the usual suspects, the Soroses and the De Blasios. Yeah. You know, Bolshevik Bill de Blasio, like David Webb likes to call him. Yeah. Tom Steyer, you know, this guy in California who's putting up all this money to defeat conservatives and Republicans in the next election cycle.
Now that's to do something about the threat of violence.
Right.
The other threat that's coming is that rhetorical threat.
Yeah.
And that's put in there by probably 90% of the teachers. See, the teachers are these professors, and these teachers are anti-American and socialist and probably
overwhelmingly. You know, there's a few. One guy called Mark Levin the other night and told him what he was doing as far as teaching the kids in his history class about history, about government, about the Constitution. And he said these are kids from the inner city they're in this public school. They're learning this stuff probably for the first time in their lives. They're learning about the true history of the country. They're learning about the Constitution, why we have it, what type of government we have, democracy versus Republican form of government.
Yes.
And when they find out this stuff, he sees a light go on.
Yeah.
It just their eyes just light up. It's like when Frederick Douglass began to educate himself and find out that the founding principles of this country were in his own best interest. That's when he became free in his mind.
Yeah.
And he no longer harbored hatred or resentment towards people that were trying to keep him down.
Yeah.
Because he knew in his own heart and his own mind that if he was free, there was nothing that could stop him.
That's right.
Nothing that could stop him, Phil.
And that's the attitude that I tried to put into my kids.
Yeah.
But it's very hard.
Yeah.
It didn't take on all of them, but
and they're swimming against a tide.
Yeah.
A real tide.
And when you go into these colleges, in these high schools, and these teachers are telling you all the time that that you can do this, you can do that. Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
Because at one day you're going to be the majority.
Yeah.
You're going to be the But if you are willing to throw away the greatest piece of greatest document ever written, the Declaration of Independence, second to the Bible, but the greatest political document ever written is the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution.
Yeah.
And the right to keep and bear arms was put in there so you could defend those words, those ideas.
Has nothing to do with duck hunting, has nothing to do with skeet shooting, has nothing to do with going out and shoot, bottles or cans off the back fence.
Yeah.
This is about defending yourself, defending your life, defending your property, defending those you love, and the country you love.
Yeah.
When your government gets out of hand, and like Jefferson wrote in the Declaration, when government becomes destructive of the ends that were laid out in the earlier part of the document, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, deriving its powers and laying out its institutions in such form as to seem to them most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Yeah.
Okay, that's important.
Yes, it is.
That's important. You don't do it through guns, bullets. You do it through ballots.
That's right. And the situation is that if you don't do it through ballots, you will
do it through
have
bullets.
to do it through the bullets.
Yeah, then we become Venezuela. Then we become Germany. Then we become Italy. Then we become North Korea. We become everything that we have, beheld and have turned away from, just cringed, and have repulsed us. This is when we no longer become a nation of individual sovereign human beings, but a nation of groups fighting each other for...
Instead of being a nation of laws, we
are a nation of men. And men are not angels.
That's right.
Like Madison said, men are not angels. If men were angels, government wouldn't be necessary. Government is a necessary evil in its best form, and an intolerable one in its worst.
Yeah, and so one of the things that the reason why I started off with the idea that, I'm going to rejoin the NRA.
Yep.
And I suggest everybody else does.
Please do.
Because they have started a campaign where they have gotten a lot of the corporations to distance themselves from the NRA.
Yeah.
To see, these people, like those people that you mentioned, Soros and Steros and all of these people, these people are bound and determined to get away from the constitutional law in this country.
Yeah.
And first thing that they know that they have to do is if they can get the guns, then the rest of it is easy.
Yep.
Because they've taken God out of the
public square.
Yeah. Taking him out. And Democrats did it on television. They took it out of their party.
But you can't kill God. That's the thing. And it always kills me to hear these people, that are out there, these atheists. Why are they so afraid of something they claim does not exist?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, don't sweat it.
Well, see that, and then the other thing is that there are some things that you have to do, but it's voluntary,
right?
To be, to follow, the Christian, ideal. And the thing is that people willingly do this once they understand.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you got people that are willing, then that is people that are willing to die,
right,
or willing to fight for a cause.
Mm-hmm.
And people, when they adopt religion, they understand how important it is to their lives, and they are willing to do that. We have to adopt that same thing re-adopt it about our Constitution.
Absolutely correct, Phil.
Okay, we are going to go to line 1, and we got a little surprise for you today, folks. So we got Dale Marshall on the line. Good morning, Dale.
Dale.
Good morning, Phil. Good morning, Bruce.
Hi, how are you, my friend?
Well, as the days, this process go on, it's working. I could just say it's working.
Good.
But it does break down the body.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
And so, February 6th, I had a birthday, turned 54, so
congratulations.
I'm getting older, and, I'm still going through this process.
Yeah.
But it's working. But the working part, because I'm over 50% in remission, but and it's breaking down my body.
Oh, wow.
But me and my doctor, I'm thinking, we got about maybe another 8 to 10 weeks, we're hoping, that I can be complete.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Well, I'm certainly going to mention that when we get together at for our Tri-County Liberty Coalition meeting later today over at the National Coney Island at 12 and Main and Royal Oak starting at 10 o'clock. I will certainly mention that, and we're going to say a big prayer for your swift and full recovery, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
I know,
we love
I don't know if Phil made an announcement, starting in April, we're going to be switching over from LLC to a 501c3. But in the meantime, we do need the help of groups like yourself and other groups like our buddy Joe. We need your help to stay on there and to still be an independent voice.
Right.
Yes.
Is that right, Phil?
Yes, exactly
and
right.
So if people can go to our website and help us out at artofmichigan.com, or, if they can leave a correspondent at the end with our P.O. Box, P.O. Box 135, Garden City, Michigan, 48135. Yeah, Phil is going to probably have to start coming back out to some of the groups and ask for support.
Yes.
We're going to start after pitching people like Reverend you, folks. But in the meantime, we still need your support right now. We still have to make it to April.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a big amount either.
No, it doesn't have to be a big amount. Just our faithful listeners and a few more people, and we can.
Because this is Freedom, Dell. This is what you guys are talking about every Saturday from 7 to 8 on Wham, and later on the guys on DTK 1400 from 8 to 10. This is freedom, and freedom is not free. There is a cost involved, and we can either pay now, or we can pay a lot. We can pay a lot later.
Hopefully, we could pay a lot later. Because when they take your freedom away,
that's right.
You can't.
It may be too late.
Yes,
it will be too late.
So, people, you better keep your freedom while it's free.
Dell, everybody's praying for you, and we love you, my friend.
Not a problem.
Okay.
But I just wanted to mention that. I know, this is, I got to push my buddy Phil. I love him, that we got to push each other to make that announcement a little bit more now than ever before. But we need your help. Like I said, in April, we're going to be a 501c3. You'll get credit for it. But as of right now, we're still at LLC. But we need your help for the next few months to get through this process. And so if you don't mind going to our website, send any correspondent if Phil can make it out, he will be out to your meetings to speak with you about helping us out too. And I just want to say you're doing a good job, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you,
Thank you for getting up with us this morning, Dale.
Yeah,
And I will
much.
give that announcement before we go back off. We'll be coming up here in just a few minutes.
Okay, Phil. All right,
Del, God bless.
Bruce.
Thank you,
God
sir.
bless. Talk to you soon.
Okay,
All right.
take care,
Bye-bye.
buddy. We love you.
And
What a great American.
yes, sir.
God, what a great American.
Yeah.
And a great Christian.
Yeah.
Truly a man of God.
Yes.
Truly a man of God.
And that is the thing of it. We have to do all we can to keep that voice on going.
That's
and
right.
get it strong and keep it going.
Yeah.
Because we got a message, and so we need to get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I was where I was at was about the influence that the teachers have over our children.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and I don't believe enough people have looked at this in that vein, because there is a concerted effort, in my estimation, to get this country off of its liberty and turn it into a Venezuela.
Yeah.
Or Mexico even.
Yeah.
And so we got to be, eternal vigilance is what it is, and we have to call it what it is. And so what they do is, with using kids like in Florida and the women in the Me Too movement, where they can actually call the leadership, the current leadership, anybody in there, all kind of names, and they can't respond because you're bashing a victim.
Well, and the thing is, the facts don't matter, especially in this debate. One of the things that John Lott was pointing out the other night was that there were over 14,000 homicides committed in the United States in 2016, which is the most recent year that we have FBI statistics, for what that's worth, I guess. But anyway, out of all those murders, and half, not even half, about 5,500 of those murders were committed with firearms.
Yeah.
But when you break it down to the AR-15, fewer than 300 were committed using that type of weapon. Handguns, long rifles, carbines, all that type of thing, shotguns. They accounted for the rest of the gun-related deaths.
Yeah.
Everything else was, knives. I must have 24 knives in my drawer at home, in my kitchen. Okay, and which can be used as. It depends on the intent of the person.
Yeah.
If you have dark thoughts and dark desires swirling around in your head and in your heart, and you can't get a gun, you're going to look elsewhere. You're going to do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And until we stop it, until we find a way to get in there.
Well, and like I said, the easiest way to stop the shootings in the schools is to harden them.
Harden them.
And once you do that, then we can talk about whether or not it makes sense to do the things for the innocent people.
Yeah.
Let's stop the guilty. Let's concentrate on stopping the people that are guilty of this. And where are they? It's like Willie Sutton said about robbing banks.
That's where the money is.
is.
And again, you can have all the gun laws in the world. You can have all these systems in place, but if any component breaks down, and the more complicated something gets, the greater the chance something's going to go wrong.
Right.
If you don't have law enforcement notified, and they come out and they check and they see that somebody is really going, hey, look, we got a problem here, and we better stop it before it really gets. But you can't allow them to just kind of blow it off or whatever. These things will not, they won't work.
Yeah. Well, folks, we're coming to the end of the show, and it
went by fast.
And this, yes, it does. And this is there is a danger that if we don't get some support, that this show will end.
Yeah, we can't have that.
If you can see your way. Send their donations to Post Office Box 135 under Del Marsh, and then we can continue with this show. Thank you very much, folks, and hopefully we will see you next week.
Or follow Phil and Del at artofmichigan.com. You can also send emails to artofmichigan@hotmail.com. And most of all, continue to listen every Saturday and tell a friend.